Since 1857, pioneers of southwest Utah's heritage say the nickname of Utah's Dixie is honoring grit, service, and sacrifice to those who settled here. But the name Dixie State University is said to be confusing and even disrespectful in some ways to those who don't live here. A study by Cicero Group was presented to the DSU Board of Trustees on Monday, revealing a lot of what's in the name Dixie and why it should be changed.
But out-of-state students, prospective out-of-state students, we're talking about 1 in 3 prospective students will not purchase the Dixie brand, period, full stop. Might be the perfect institution for them, but they won't consider it. They won't move past go because it's called what it is called.
The comprehensive study, which included 8 focus groups, 102 interviews, and surveyed 3,255 people from both in and out of state, revealed that keeping the name Dixie implies racism coming from the days of Confederacy and slavery. Among the groups offended by the name were African Americans and those living out of state.
We've heard from many of the populations, especially in our qualitative research, had to do with connotations of Southern slavery and some of the negatives associated with that, or the potential negatives associated with that. From a branding perspective, one of the other things that really emerged, especially in our quantitative work, was that from a marketing recruiting perspective, it's not just those connotations, but there's just simply an assumption around the institution that it is not where it is.
One of the issues was that geographical confusion. Most geographical names are there to tell people where you are. We found that a large percentage really were just confused about where we are. So it's like saying, we're Florida State, but we're actually in Colorado.
The study revealed branding problems and students having difficulty explaining where they graduated from to potential future employers on their resumes.
And what we're finding is that 22% of our recent alumni indicated that they had an employer or a potential employer ask them and express concern about the name Dixie. That is tremendous number. That was really shocking that 1 in 5 had been asked or indicated they had concerns about that they went to someplace called Dixie. We need to make sure that's not an issue.
The study also showed that out-of-state alumni believe the name may hold back the university from growth in the future. However, local alumni may tend to give less money if the name Dixie changes.
Just the fact that we are reluctant to release that name shows that we don't take it seriously. And so that was a learning for me, that if we are going to fulfill the mission and the vision that has been established for that university, that we have to consider the underlying understanding of the university and do our utmost to elevate its stature and standing.
And nearly half of faculty, staff, and students surveyed see a negative impact on student-athlete recruitment as well as finding future professors. A poll on wearing Dixie State apparel was also conducted, causing concern.
What really surprised me was 27% of our current students won't wear a shirt that says Dixie on it outside of the state of Utah. And then 50% of those students, wanted to keep the name or didn't care if they kept the name. I thought those were huge percentages. Looking at our recent alumni, with them 41% not wanting to wear their shirt outside of the state of Utah, and then 49% of our faculty and staff that just had real concerns about our reputation and recruiting additional faculty and staff.
The board members said they just want to do what's right for the students.
No offense to anyone who's been a student here, but to those who are students and who will be students, that's got to be my focus. I think that's where I've got to be.
In a final vote, the trustees decided to release the name, allowing the Board of Regents to take over and hand it on to the Utah Legislature for a name change.
We are still identified in large part with that past and that history. So being tied to that in any way, as much as people still think of the name Dixie with Confederacy, that's a concern for us.
The DSU administration and governing bodies knew we had an obligation to remove any obstacles that may get in the way of our graduates' success. By removing this barrier, we feel our students and alumni will be better equipped to reach their full potential.
Whatever its name is will lend itself to what it's meant to be. We have a great heritage in this university, and we can continue that. This is a decision that takes a lot of courage, and Dixie's been known to be a courageous place. We've kept going through a lot of opposition, and we can continue that.
From Dixie State University, Melissa Anderson, Community Education News.